Hello, my name is Kevin Haney and I'm a trademark attorney. Today I want to talk to you about likelihood of confusion. Now the main way that you might come across this phrase likelihood of confusion is if you filed a trademark application and you've been rejected based on a likelihood of confusion with another registered trademark. But really that phrase likelihood of confusion is just a fancy way of saying that these two trademarks are in conflict with one another such that they might cause consumers to be confused. And even though there are a lot of factors to determining whether a likelihood of confusion exists, most of the time there are only two major factors that determine whether there is likelihood of confusion. The first one is just the similarity of the trademarks themselves. Do they, appear the same? Do they sound the same? Do they have the same meaning or the same overall commercial impression? If so, then there's a likelihood of confusion between those two marks. If I have the mark ABC on one hand and another business has the mark ABC, obviously there's no question as to the similarity of those marks. They're identical, but in most cases, there's some gray area there as to whether the two marks are similar or not. The next major factor is going to be the relatedness of the products and services with which the marks are used. And people have a lot of misconceptions about this. They think if I register this trademark, that protects me for any and all future uses that I may have for the mark. That's not true. When you use a trademark, you're not protecting the name or the phrase or the slogan in a vacuum, but you're specifically protecting it as used with particular products and services. And the reason this is important is that two brand names can coexist in completely separate fields without confusion. Examples of this would be, there's a Delta Airlines, but also a Delta Faucets. Both famous brands, both use the name Delta, but because they're in unrelated fields, there's no likelihood of confusion. Another example would be Dove for chocolates versus Dove for soap. If you pick up Dove chocolates at the grocery store, you're not going to think, oh, this is from the same company that makes my soap. Obviously, they're in unrelated fields and consumers aren't likely to believe that the same company produces these two very different products. So those are the major factors with the likelihood of confusion analysis. The way that you avoid getting a likelihood of confusion rejection, or the easiest thing you can do to avoid that sort of rejection, is to do your research before you file your trademark application. So this is why I advise my clients to conduct a comprehensive federal search so we know what other trademarks have been registered before we file their application and face a potentially difficult rejection to overcome. If you have any questions about likelihood of confusion or any other trademark related topics, please feel free to reach out. My information is at the end of this video. Thank you very much.